offer postures that are going to hit more than one area that most of us have needs with or have areas. Okay, Betty has made herself comfortable on the guru pile of blankets. And we will find a comfortable seat, sitting on maybe a bolster or blocks or blankets or towels, pillows, couch cushions, whatever you have. And however you choose to take that posture, maybe the feet aren't, super far away. Maybe they're really close. Or maybe you're working to get those feet underneath the knees. Hello, I see a little comment that popped up. Hi, Katrina, welcome. Yes, she's chilling as she does. I taught yoga earlier at a memory center here in Las Vegas. And at this facility, there's people that live there, there's residents. So they have dogs just like kind of running around the whole space. And I love it. And it just makes me so happy. So his name was, oh my God, what's his name? It'll come back to me. But he was just chilling. The dog was just chilling on the yoga mats and just hanging out with us. And I loved it. And one of the ladies sitting there, she kept trying to get the dog to go away. And I was like, no, like, leave him there. It's a Scooter or something. I'm like, leave Scooter there. Like, I said, Betty is part of the practice. Like, she's the master. So if your pets are joining, welcome them, right? Make a little space for them. We're in their space. We're on the ground. We're in their territory, my friends. So we have to incorporate them into the practice. Okay, so sitting up nice and tall. Again, maybe you're pulling those feet so they're underneath the knees, and you're going to feel a little bit more sensation in those outside hips. And just notice your shoulders. Can you bring the shoulders over your hips? Keep the heart nice and open. Oh, and I love all those hearts coming through, everybody. Thank you so much. And then either your eyes are slightly open, maybe they're gently looking towards the ground, or they're closed. Whichever way you choose to have your eyes, can you just soften through your facial features? Let your eyes relax. Let the forehead soften. Let the space in between your eyebrows soften. And begin to take some nice full breaths in. Allow the rib cage to expand with your inhale. Allow the low belly to expand with that inhale. And then as you exhale, the belly carefully, slowly draws in towards your spine. And as you're focusing on your breath, can you soften through your jaw? Can you lengthen, like as if there is a string at the crown of your head pulling you a little bit taller? Feel that lightness, like you're floating. So you might begin to feel the muscles in the spine working to keep you upright, to keep you straight. Everything's working together here. That's why I find it so funny when people are like, oh, yoga, that's so easy. I'm like, really? Maybe you're not doing it right. Because yoga should be challenging, right? Even if we're taking a restorative practice, maybe the challenging part of restorative practice is actually letting go and relaxing. That is challenging for people. This is why we need more restorative and more yin practices in our lives. We have enough of the yang, of the fast, the movement, whatever it is, whether if it's a vinyasa or a Bikram class or any kind of flow practice. Or maybe it's pickleball, or maybe it's cycling, whatever else that you do, right? Let your yoga practice complement your lifestyle. We need more space. We need more opportunity to slow down and sometimes just do nothing. Gently blink open your eyes. Give your fingers and toes a little wiggle and come back to your space. What do you say, mamas? You come back to the space? Okay, I want to get into the hips before we start getting into the low back. And this is all going to prepare us for low back sciatica stuff. So let's go ahead and come into a kind of a standing posture. You're more than welcome to use props. You can use a bolster. You can use blocks. You can use, yeah, those are the things I would say. That would be very helpful. So if I wanted to build up a structure for my bolster, because what we're going to do is we're going to come into a forward fold. So this is going to be support for forward fold. So here's one option, right? Hands on blocks. I always like to give you lots of options. Put a gentle bend or generous, whatever you need in order to release the upper body. Oh my gosh, my friends, this feels so amazing, just like this. So maybe it's options to keep hands on bricks, or maybe you get forearms on the bricks, totally up to you. Or maybe if you need a little bit more support, you're going to grab that bolster, place it on top of your blocks, and then just gently lean like that. And then maybe this allows you to play a little bit more with the legs by straightening them and then going back into that generous bend if you need it, or slight bend. But try to release as much as you can. We're going to go between this forward fold. These are the only two standing postures, right? We call them standing because we're on our feet. We're going to go between a forward fold and then a squat. And then if you want to use blocks for the squat, you're more than welcome to. Just going to move these to the side. So let's do 1 minute and 1 minute, and then we'll do it another time. So we're going to do 1 minute forward fold, 1 minute squat, 1 minute forward fold, 1 minute squat. Got it? Have your props if you need them. So let's get the timer going. That would be very helpful. All right, so 1 minute in all of these, and then you decide where you want to begin. Maybe it's with a bend in the knees, slight or generous. Let your head go. Maybe even nod it yes a few times, shake it no. Good. And then as you're here, just begin to play with straightening the backs of your legs a little bit. And keep your hands on the ground, and then you can also play with weight placement. So maybe I was working on this with my seniors earlier. Maybe you go forward, put more weight in the toes, and tip back, weight in the heels. Somewhere in between. Release. Woo! There you go. There's 1 minute. Keep those hands on the floor. And then if you're using blocks, bring those blocks underneath you, set them up any amount, and then come down into your squat. Now, when you come down into your squat and the heels do not touch the ground, I want you to grab a blanket. I would grab a blanket if I could, but my dog is on my blankets because that's where she sits when we come to practice. I would take that blanket and fold it once, twice, and then put it underneath my heels for support so that I'm not just kind of like hanging out on my toes, but my heels are supported too. And that's going to just allow me to sit up a little bit more and just really sink into those hips. I'm taking my elbows on the inside to keep the hips nice and open. All right, we're going to get another opportunity after this to do both postures again. Are you loving this? I love this. This is like my favorite stuff to do, these hip openers. Let's get into them. Grounding too. I love this pose. This is one of my favorite shapes of all time, honestly. Keep doing this pose, my friends. Whatever you do, just keep doing this pose. Even if you don't do any other yin poses, do this one. It's so good. Okay, I could give you like 5 that are like half twos. Okay, all right, go ahead. Carefully place those hands on the floor. Put those feet back to parallel, and then come back into your forward fold, however you took it. Maybe you want supports. Maybe you try it without supports. Maybe you take the legs a little straighter. You get to choose your adventure for this pose this time. How much can you release in your upper back? It feels so good to let it go. Maybe even take the forearms crossing if you can tolerate that. That adds a little bit more weight to the posture as opposed to keeping the hands on the floor. So again, you get to choose how much sensation you get to feel in this shape. Okay, 1 minute there. Bring the hands to the floor. Carefully turn those toes out. Walk them out slightly. Come back into your yogi squat. Beautiful. Hands can stay low. Hands can come into Anjali Mudra in front of the heart center. Again, keep pressing those elbows into the legs. Open up a little bit more. Sink a little bit more. Again, maybe you play a little bit. You do a little observation. You get curious with your movement. If you tip forward, maybe bring more weight to the heels. It's okay. Whoop. It's okay if you fall down. It's fine, right? It means you're human and we get back up. That's it, right? Dang. Life. It freaking knocks us down, doesn't it, sometimes? But that's the journey. It's wild, my friends. Boy, this is the longest minute ever, huh? Okay, there it goes. Okay, all right. Now to come out carefully, maybe bring your hands out. You can stand back up if that makes sense to you. Or maybe you just carefully bring yourself down all the way to the ground. Carefully extend the legs. They might feel a little different after being folded up for a while. So give them a little wiggle. Be gentle. Be very gentle. Give them a little shake. And then when you're ready, let's do some windshield wipers. Kind of getting back into the hips a little bit here too. Okay? So good. I feel like we've done deer and we've done kind of like these 90-90s for the past few weeks, but I just feel like that would be a really good place to go to right now after that pose. And twists are good to realign the spine. So let's do that. Let's do a little realignment with the spine. Choices here. We're going to come into that sleeping deer. So I'm going to take my bolster behind me. I'm going to sit in front of the bolster. Just move these things off to the side. I don't need them necessarily at the moment. And we will sit one hip to the side of that bolster. Now, choices. My goal is to get over here and come all the way down. If that's not where you're going, that's okay. Maybe you stay upright. This is enough. So let's work the legs, get them somewhat in position. If they don't come to those 90-90s, right? 90 and 90, those right angles, that's okay. Draw the feet in, draw the heels in closer to the body. There doesn't need to be as much space, right? This is not all about alignment, right? This is not a Iyengar. This is strictly based on your body. So if you need a little bit more space to bring this back hip forward, you're going to have to move this back knee in a little bit. So maybe the knee and the foot touch. Totally fine. Go ahead, bring yourself. If you're going to come down, bring one hand on each side and then lower yourself. We're going to hang out here for 2 minutes. I think that's a good amount of time to be here to get that nice twist. And remember, we're going to do it 2 times because we have 2 sides. So as you're ready, come down, one hand on either side of the bolster. Again, you might need to bring this back leg forward a little bit to get the chest down onto the bolster. And wherever you are, Where can you let go and soften into a little bit? So hopefully even with these twists here, this can help with that feeling of depletion. Coming into these twists, we kind of put the body in these shapes and then we come out and we release and let go. And it's like we're a little bit of a rejuvenation, right? We should be feeling a little bit better after those twists, letting in all of that fresh blood and all that oxygenated blood into the rest of the body. Soften as much as you can and release those muscles if they're gripping around the bones. Okay, my friends. Carefully walk those hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale to come up. Unwind, come back. Face away from that bolster. Again, maybe some movement. Maybe it's just windshield wiper, side to side. Good. And then we'll prepare for the other side. I'm going to flip over my bolster to the other side because I don't like facing away from the camera, but at home you can do whatever you like. Maybe you just turn so the other hip is on the bolster. So again, setting our legs up first. We'll set the bolster up, right? And then feel even. And then let's get into the legs. 90-90s. Remember, they don't need to get into that full 90-90 shape. Okay, somewhere close, but enough to allow this twist to happen. Okay, so stay for the inhale. And then as you exhale, place one hand on either side of the bolster. If you're going that direction, otherwise you're more than welcome to stay right here if this is enough. Maybe hands come to the floor. Maybe you don't come all the way down. Maybe you just walk your hands and you hold yourself. You can definitely feel some sensation here. But if it's accessible to you and it makes sense, go ahead, bring yourself all the way down to the bolster, turning your head one direction. Just breathing here. And as you notice, like if it starts to get a little like, not feeling anything, you're like, wow, this is kind of like, I'm going to fall asleep. And you still want to feel sensation. Experiment with the legs. Begin to move them back into those 90-90 shapes to see if you can find that edge once more. And then just hold. Good. Breathing. Trying to release the muscles in your spine with those exhales. Release that tension. Don't hold on to it. It's not serving you to hold on to it. It does no good for us, right? It just takes away our energy. So let it go. All right, my friends, carefully walk those hands under the shoulders. Inhale to come up. All right, place those hands behind you as you bring your knees back up. Again, your choice, windshield wipers, or if there's something else that makes sense to you that you want to do, go for it. Oh my goodness. Betty girl. What's up, mama? Is somebody here? Is Robin here? Is that who's here? My boyfriend's mom, I think, just got here. So I think she wants to go check everything out. Do you want to go out there, mama? You going to say goodbye? The people are going to miss you. They're going to be like, where'd Betty go? You don't want to hang out anymore? You don't want to do the yoga? You got distracted? Well, I guess Betty's saying au revoir. So, all right, Betty. Go, baby girl. Oh, well. Such is life, right? You know, she does what she wants. She's the boss. Okay. I know. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the hearts. I'm going to miss her. I know. It's so hard. All right, where are we? All right, friends. Hello. Welcome. Hello. Your little cat is helping Valerie. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Okay, friends. So I want to get into the hips a little bit more. So last week, I know we did some dragons, right? We got into, actually, no, we didn't do dragons, but we got into, okay, we're not doing anything we did last week. That's why I always write down the sequence because I want to make sure. Okay, we're going to come a little bit into a high flying dragon. So just step your foot forward. Doesn't matter which one because we're going to do both. But we will, whatever side we're starting on right now, we're going to head into another posture right after on the same side. So don't switch into the lunge on the next side. We're going to go into another shape. So wherever you are right here, walk that foot forward. You can place your hands on your knees. If you want to take those blocks, you can place them underneath your shoulders. Get a little bit deeper into the shape. Feel that nice hip opening here on the opposite hip. Then can you gently pull back that bent knee hip, that front knee? Can you pull that hip side back a little bit and sink a little deeper? Good. All right, breathing here. Good. And your choice, if you want to stay up, you can. If you want to come down lower, you're more than welcome to. Hands can come on the inside or one on either side, just kind of stepping deep into that. You know, I'm not going to advise to go deeper, but if you want, you can. We're not going to be here for very long. So that's why I'm kind of staying a little bit higher than we would. But really drop into that hip. Feel it open. And breathe, of course. Find that edge. If you need a little movement, maybe you shift the hips a little side to side. Maybe there's a little push out and then let it come back in and down. Good. I just feel like I'm completely pulling that soft tissue with between the pelvis and the hip, or the pelvis and my femur bone. Definitely creating some space here. All right, friends, carefully, you're going to take that foot, walk it over to the opposite side of your mat. We're going to come down into our sleeping swan or swan. So whatever's going to make sense. If you need support underneath your hips, you can take a blanket, a towel, a bolster if you need it, or a block. Place it underneath you. Give yourself a little bit of lift so you can release. Okay, I don't want you gripping and holding in this space. I want you to let go. So use the supports that you need for the posture to make that happen. All right. Ugh, so much better, right? I'm loving that. Definitely on this side, I need it. Okay. So friends, let's go ahead and come up. If you want to stay up, you're more than welcome to stay here if this is enough. Okay. Maybe eventually you walk yourself forward a little bit. Good. And then just look back at that foot. Make sure the toes are pointing down. Good. And then carefully, when you're ready, if you choose to, bring yourself down. Okay, friends, carefully walk your hands back. Your choice on how you want to exit. I'm just gonna take my toes, curl and under, step back into a little bit of a downward facing dog. And then if you wanna hang out in down dog, you can, or maybe you come down, hands and knees, and take some cats and cows in between before we go into dragon on the other side. So we have dragon and then swan or sleeping swan. So take a few moments in between the sides and just kind of feel it out. What's happening in your body? What are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? Pay attention, right? Good. Okay, friends, as you're ready, go ahead, step that opposite foot forward, and we'll come into dragons on the other side. Okay? Not overstepping, so try to keep that knee over the ankle. Good. Drop that back knee down. Stretch it forward. You're more than welcome to stay upright using blocks. If it's comfortable enough, maybe you stay upright with the hand on top of the knee. Good. And then as you are ready, maybe you drop down lower. Just gonna pop over to see if there's anything. The last one just changed my life, girl. Right? That posture is just everything. We need more malasana in our lives. Everybody does, honestly. Like, this is the thing. Like, countries that have that in their normal, like, day-to-day living situation, and it's a lot of Asian countries, probably like in South Asian countries as well, like the squat, like, it's everything. And there's this test, I know I've mentioned it before, but like the sit stand test, I think it was in Spain this test was developed, or they first started talking about it. But the ability, if you fall down on the floor, how are you able to get back up? Or can you get up without using your hands and your arms? We did this in yoga teacher training. My teacher was pretty like bent on it, but it makes sense. Working with the people I work with, the populations, it's a big chance they're going to fall down, but can they help themselves to get back up? Right? We need to have that. We need to be able to do that. So this is why we do the yoga, my people. So happy you're here doing it with me, right? Getting all of these wonderful benefits so that we can live long and feel happy and good in our bodies, and they move well, pliably, right? There's not sticky or stuckness happening. We're going to just flow and move and glide. This is why I love yin. Okay. Longest time ever now. Oh my gosh, I forgot to start my timer. Just kidding. Okay. All right, friends, let's come into that pigeon. So, sleeping swan, carefully come back out just a little bit. Walk that foot over. I promise to set my timer on this side. I promise. For sure. Okay. Again, take a peek behind you, extend those toes, and then level those hips out. Use whatever support you need. I'm using this blanket again. It feels so good. And then if you're happy to stay here upright, do it. If you want to come down, you know the drill. Just do it when you see fit and you are ready. And here I am setting the timer like a good girl. Okay, I got it. I set the timer. All right, friends. But yes, going back to the sit stand, super important. Do it. Learn how to do it. See if you can get up from a cross-legged position. So from like Sukhasana or easy pose, can you stand up? My little trick is I like to push into the outside edges of my feet to press in to stand up without using my hands. If you can do it like coming out like with your legs just straight and you're in a sitting position like in staff, like that, you can do that, and then bend the knees and then stand up that way. It's challenging, but it's worth a shot. Try it. You might impress yourself. Okay, friends, and then as you're ready, come down if you wish. Okay, 2 minutes on that side. Carefully walk those hands back. Again, if you want to curl the toes under, step it back to a down dog or do some cats and cows, totally up to you. Take some movement if you need it. We are going to come in and do another super yummy hip opener. Challenging. I will give you choices, as I always like to. So we will meet back in a comfortable seat. So just take some movement, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe stretching out one leg at a time, maybe both, maybe doing a little plank, whatever you like. Wag the tail a little bit, little side bends here in the spine. Feels so good, right? Like I talk about, we got to move the spine in all directions every single day. It's good for us. Okay, we need that for longevity, for balance, for wellness. Okay. Hey, Steph, can you do a sit to stand class? Oh gosh, it would be like 5 minutes. Sure. Okay. All right, friends. Let's go ahead and do a little hip opener here. Now, some choices. This is square, or we call it fire logs. So essentially, it's like double pigeon. So we did pigeon, but this is like double pigeon. So stacking, it would be like stacking like this. Shin on shin. Ooh, shin on shin. Yeah. Okay, so I'm glad I wore fun pants tonight. This wasn't the plan, but I'm glad it happened. So this is where we're headed. Kind of like when I said we were going to bring our feet underneath us in Sukhasana earlier. This is kind of like where I was headed with this as well. So this is a choice. You can always add a block or a blanket for support. We're only going to be here for a minute on each side. If this is not doable, then just drop that foot in front so they're just stacked one in front of the other as opposed to one on top of the other. So the idea here, try to get those feet or those knees and shins 90-90, right? The femur bones, and then sitting up. If you have a wall behind you, that might feel really good to do it that way too. So I'm going to set the timer for a minute. Remember, we're going to do it again because we have two sides. All right. So far, so good. Everybody feeling all right? Okay, let's do this. Yep, you're going to feel it definitely in the hips. Breathing here. I like some of these more intense postures because you don't necessarily need to do them for a long time because they are so intense. And for me, this is definitely one of those shapes. Even some of the wrist ones that I teach, same thing, only a minute. We don't need a whole long time holding in some of these poses because we feel it right away if we're applying a little bit of pressure. Tension, right? Compression to those areas are twisting, right? So here we're doing a little compression and a little opening here. So just breathe. You're doing great. Good. All right. And that was 1 minute on one side. So carefully unstack, unravel the legs. If you want to take them out and give them a wiggle, do that. And then as you're ready, we will get ready for side number 2. So stacking leg on leg, or maybe leg in front of other leg, sitting up nice and tall. All right. I forgot to mention on the first side, but press through those heels, right? Flex. Feel that engagement. Of course, the more you bring, the foot on top of the knee on top of foot, the more you're going to feel the sensation. So find that edge where you can breathe and you can be okay. You still feel something, just not pain. No sharp shooting pain. Sensation, gentle, dull, aching, stretch sensation. Yes, that's what we're going for. Absolutely. And then Steph, how about this? How about instead of doing a whole class on it, I'll just do it right now. It'll be very fast. A quick tutorial. as we suffer through this fire log for 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, carefully come out, unravel the legs. Oh, you're feeling it? I'm feeling it, definitely. Definitely, definitely, definitely. So wherever you're feeling it, those are the areas you want to be a little gentle with, right? So instead of using the muscle, can you just assist and bend the legs with the arms so we're not overextending, overexerting, okay? Now, so the sit stand, I'll just do it, take a breath. This is how I've done it. So remember, the sit stand is with no hands. So something like that, press into the outsides of the feet to come up like that, okay? Now, if you can do it, did you see what I did there? Right? I press down, so I'm just in a regular Sukhasana. I'll do it this way now. Regular Sukhasana, no hands, Ma. Look, no hands. Press down into the feet to come up, right? Now, if you can, whoa, can you come down too? If you can do it without the legs being crossed, so if you can do it like this, right? I have a little bit more challenging time of doing that. That's why it's easier for me to cross the ankles to press up. So if you really want to challenge yourself, I just feel like I'm going to do it. I'm going to fall forward on my face. If you really want to challenge yourself, try doing it. Take the feet wide, I don't know, and then try to push yourself up. It's not easy, kids. It's not, okay? And if you have more cushion in the back, let me tell you, because I've done this when I've had more in the back, and it's not easier. It's challenging, but try it. But try it, do it the way I do it. Do it with the cross legs first and try it that way. Did you try it? Oh my gosh, it's so much fun, right? Okay. It's like doing crow pose and just falling on your face. Okay, so we did a little bit of that. We got into the square. Okay, now I wanted to just bring us back into a heart opener because I think that would be really nice. If you want to use your blocks, please feel free to do so. If you want to make it a little more restorative, a little more gentle, you can do that too. But I think I'm going to just use blocks today and come into our reclined bound angle. So a little Supta Baddha Konasana, a nice hip opening, good for the low back, and it'll feel nice for the heart space. And also if we're feeling a little bit of this depletion, right? It'll feel nice to open the heart and breathe into that centered space. If you don't want to come up onto blocks and you want to do something a little bit different, take the bolster or blankets or towels, stack them up, and then just lay over them. I have another posture we can do, I think. After this would be really nice too. So let's come into this posture. If you want to use something for your legs, you can take the bolster, blankets, whatever you have. Legs can be straight, or if you want to take it into true reclined bound angle pose, you can carefully, I'm just situating myself over the blocks. That medium height block is going to go across your back, and that tall one is going to go underneath the back of your head. You got a ponytail, you might have to move it. Or your hair in a clip, take the clip out. And give yourself some space. So move the bolster away from your body if you need to. And then allow the arms just to rest on the ground for now. If you want to add the arms overhead, you can do that for a little bit more engagement in the upper body and the lungs and the chest area for those meridians. Otherwise, keep the arms down and breathe here. Just find that stillness, that peace. We all have access to the peace, right, that we create. I'll even give you a little mantra to throw in there with it. So this one has a little finger tapping. You take your index finger and you tap it on your thumbs, right? So your thumb actually taps on each one. So you first tap index to thumb, and then middle finger to thumb, ring finger, pinky to thumb. And it goes like this. Peace begins with me. So each time you tap, peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. And you can tap that silently in your head or out loud. It's a nice little mantra to come back to when we start to feel like things feel chaotic around us, our environment, or our internal state. We can bring ourselves back to this. Peace begins with me. And gently begin to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and just begin to straighten the legs out for a moment if you haven't already. If they were already straight, then leave them straight. And if they were in that bent knee posture and feet touching, just begin to extend the legs, wiggle them. Good. And then just very carefully, if you're on your blocks or if you're on a bolster, just carefully roll off of them and support yourself as you just pop up very briefly to place them off to the side. Grab a blanket. We're going to take the blanket into a roll. This is a really nice heart opener. We're going to do again, another one across. So take this across your yoga mat and you're going to bring it underneath the heart, right? So a little lift. So a little less intense. If you want to cactus the arms out to the side, that's a choice. I'm going to bring the knees in towards the chest and then drop them over to one side. So a little spinal twist here with this blanket roll. And if you need to support the knees when they come down, you can do that. Grab a bolster, another blanket or block and place it underneath there, or a pillow, anything to support the knees. We want to keep the upper body just as it is, planted on the floor, the knees rotating to one side. I definitely feel a difference in this twist with the blanket underneath the heart space. It brings a little bit different sensation to the shape. Kind of provides a little bit of a challenge, I think, to this shape. Good. And then carefully inhale, draw those knees back in. If you need to recenter yourself, you can do that. And draw those knees in and then drop them over to the side. I had to shift my hips a little bit to make that happen. So if you need to shift the hips around to do that, to bring the knees over, do so. And then again, use whatever props you need to support the knees. Breathing here. And inhale, carefully bring the knees back up. Carefully draw one knee in at a time, extend the other leg straight. And you're still on that blanket roll behind you. Just keep pulling that knee in towards your chest. Maybe off to the side a little bit so you can bring it up towards the armpit. And then we'll switch. Then the other knee, straighten the opposite leg. Bring that knee in towards center and then slightly out towards the armpit. And carefully draw both feet in, come into that happy baby. So take both feet grab on the outside edges of both feet. Feet will face towards the sky. Drop those knees in towards the armpits. All right, carefully bring those knees in. Carefully extend the legs out. And if you want to roll over and pull out that blanket roll, you can. We are coming down to our final shape of Shavasana. Please stay all the way till the end for closing. So find what you need. Maybe it's a bolster, maybe it's blankets, maybe it's nothing. But find yourself in a comfortable position, and we will be here for a few breaths just to allow the benefits of this practice to seep into and integrate into our system. And just in that same way where we started, of creating that peace, know that it's always accessible to us anywhere we go at any time. All we have to do is find that stillness and listen. Go inward. Or as we say in yin, go yinward. Slowing down, doing nothing. And there is a difference between nothing to do and doing nothing. Doing nothing means there are things you need to take care of and do, but you're choosing not to. Having nothing to do means you literally have nothing to do. So I love having nothing to do. I create space to have nothing to do. So I hope this practice helps you in relaxing and stress and healing and recovery. Release any controlled breathing and just be for a moment. Begin to deepen your breath. And a little movement to your fingers and to your toes. Gently waking up the body from that very brief but so important pause in Shavasana. When you're ready, reach your arms overhead, full body stretch. Carefully roll over to one side and just pause there for a moment before you pop up. And just take a moment, notice how you're feeling. And when you're ready, come on up to your comfortable seat. All right, friends, again, thank you so much for showing up and sharing what you needed in practice tonight. There wasn't a whole lot of requests, but we got a lot out of it. So it's low back and sciatica, and I added in some hips because that's always good stuff. Oh, thank you so much for your donations, everybody. Mucho appreciated. Remember, just a small donation of $1 or $2 from all of you makes a big difference in my life. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. Next week, practice is going to be changing from 4 p.m. Before I used to hold it at 5 p.m. My schedule has changed a little bit. So I'm going to be teaching this practice on Friday mornings at 8 a.m. But don't forget, I'm also adding a Tuesday 4 p.m. yin practice. So if you can't make it on Friday mornings at 8 a.m. for the hour, come on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. If you want to know where to find the recordings, because I am recording it, please reach out to me. A few people reached out last week. If you want to know, just reach out, send me a message on Insight Timer. Okay. Ooh, I see some things popping through. Okay, I'm just going to pop over and say hello. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Channy. Oh, your hips feel so much looser on the heart over. Oh, good. I'm so glad you liked them. Me too. Katrina, thank you so much. Good, good, good. Rebecca, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, Steph, I hope you got what you needed on the the sit stand test. All right, and if you're curious, just go ahead and do a little Google search on it. It's really interesting stuff. So, all right, friends, on your next breath in, inhale, reach those arms overhead, palms touch. Exhale, bringing down all of that divine universal energy to your heart centers. And that divine universal energy vibrates as the frequency of love through which you and I and all sentient beings are connected on this planet. The light in me salutes and honors the light in all of you, my friends. Namaste. Thank you so much. I will be adding all those practices in for the month of September going forward. So it will be Tuesday, 4 p.m. for yin. Wednesday, we're going to do a 4 p.m. restorative. I have to double check the schedule that I made. And then the 8 a.m. on Friday. I can't remember. There might be one that it might be a 3 p.m. and there might be a 4 p.m. Anyway, when I put them on the Insight Timer, you will see and they will be there. And then if you can come, great. If not, message me and I'll tell you how to see a replay. Okay. All right, friends, again, thank you so much for the donations. It's greatly appreciated. And as a yoga teacher and all of the other things I do, it's really awesome that you're here supporting me on this platform. And if you ever want to reach out and find me on the socials, I'm definitely on Instagram.